What's up, everybody? I said 3:45, but I'm just sitting around to do this install. So I'm going to do it now. We're going to do the Scrapflex. Let's see if I can get a good view. So this is my Scrapflex. What's up, Double A? This is the first one I made. It's not a terribly complicated hilt. I still got a leather wrap coming from DEFCON Bird. It'll be here on Friday. So just imagine this with a brown wrap for now. But yeah, this was pretty cool to make. Like I said, not terribly complicated, but it is fun. Did some heat staining, put a little tube here just for something different, and then designed this chassis for it that I was super excited about. The only thing that I did before this live was put the OLED screen in because when I was test fitting some parts this morning, making sure it was all smooth, I was having trouble getting that to fit. So I did a lot of carving on the inside of that thing. I should have given myself a little bit more room, and that took me a while. So I went ahead and I put that in before this, but that's the only component that I wired up before starting this video. And then this is what it came out with. Of course, this is going to be Profi. It's just something I like to do. All boards are great, but I like to do Profi. I like doing blinkies and different things like that, and I just prefer that board. I've already programmed my board, so if I wired it up right today, it should work. Over here, I have 8 holes in the chassis to use one of these. I've never used one before. It's like a rigid PCB, 8 PCB board, and I wanted to try it out. So that's what we've got. 2812 LED strip, 8 PCB. It'll slide right in and be right behind those holes like that. And then on the other side is an OLED screen because I wanted to do, I didn't want to make this one the same on both sides, which is something that I typically do. So I'm just trying to mix it up a little bit, or I'll put the OLED screen over here, and I wanted to not do that this time and just mix it up a little bit. But yeah, removable battery, 20 millimeter speaker. A lot of people use some MHS parts to make their Scrapflex. I just went ahead. This is a 2.0 kit, so I kept the handle. When I wrap it with the leather wrap, you won't even be able to tell. This was something I bought used, so I had to take the grips off. They were on there pretty good, but I got most of the adhesive off. I got enough of it off that after I wrap it, it won't make a difference. But yeah, so I'll put that off to the side, and we'll get to installing. What I want to do first. Let's do this first. I need to re-up my colors, my wire colors. I'm running out. I have some. I just haven't put it on my wire roll yet. That's all right. Easy to do. What's up, Benji? Benji got himself a resin printer today, thanks to our buddy Cole. Can't wait to see what he comes up with. What's up, Mundo? Yeah, what's up, Eric? This is my Scrapflex. Not a terribly complicated thing, but it was fun to make. Like I was telling some of the guys before you guys tuned in, I got a leather wrap coming that will be here on Friday, a brown leather wrap. So I'm paying attention to that handle. But yeah, this was fun to make. Not as complicated as a Star Killer, but still pretty cool. Pretty cool. So hopefully it all comes together. Hopefully it all comes together. Yeah, thanks, man. That is from a some kind of a tire pressure gauge or something like that. I've been hanging on to it, trying to figure out how to use it. Tried it on a few different builds and it didn't look right, so I just hung on to it for a while, yeah. Normally I would just wire all my components at the same time, but since we're doing this, we'll just do one component at a time. This has to go through the speaker area or it won't fit. That's how I designed it. So you try to put it in like this, you're not going to get it. I have to come through this way. Yo, what's up, Zane? Tano Sabers. Oh, thanks, man. You like that heat stain? Try my best. I normally use a flambe torch for all my heat staining. On this one, though, I had to go pick up a butane torch. It was just too much. I tried to do it with the flambe torch, and it wasn't happening for me. But that butane torch made it happen pretty quick. So I was probably sleeping on that. What's up, Mac? Mac Chowdhury just got back from vacation. Went to, forget where you went. Abu Dhabi. Am I weathering or painting the chassis? I don't know yet, man. I don't know yet what I'll do. This goes in here a very particular kind of way, and I forgot how I did it. We'll get it. Dubai. That's right. That's awesome, man. Well, I hope you had a good time. Welcome back and you didn't miss anything. How am I going to do this? How did I tell myself to do this? It will fit. I know that for sure. It's about the wire placement. I may paint the chassis. I don't know. It's not really typically my deal. Oh, your son got sick. That sucks, dude. Hope he's okay, little guy. Probably should have done this one before I started too. I got it. We got it. It's just not. I didn't leave myself a whole lot of room to do much of anything. Glad to hear it, dude. Who designed this chassis? Yeesh. Yeah, it's cram food. I wanted to put a lot in there like I typically do. Paying the price a little bit, but that's okay. We'll get it in there. It has to go in a very particular kind of way in order to get it all to fit right. It'll go. Gotta talk nice to it. Jeez. One thing about this LED PCB thing is I wish that it had solder pads on the back. That'd be sweet. Instead of what's going on here. They're only on the front. It's gonna be one of those days. Yeah, Mundo. Sometimes I will. Like I almost thought about doing that here, and I probably will, since they're not cooperating. I twist everything really just out of habit. We'll leave it untwisted this time around. Oh, these are NeoPixels Max, so you can, but I divided it up into 3 different blade styles. So you're gonna spend an hour getting this in, and then we'll blow through the rest. Just like that. Oh yeah, OLED. There's an OLED on the other side. So LED strip on one side, OLED on the other side. That's what I wanted. That's what I was trying to accomplish there. Got the Butterfingers today. Sometimes this type of stuff goes really smooth, and sometimes it doesn't. It's all part of it. There we go. I got 4 wires over here for my OLED. I got 3 wires over here for my NeoPixel. If you could see that, I only gave myself just enough room to snap that in place, and really I should have given myself a little bit more room, but whatever, it's fine. It'll work. So just a little bit of CA glue on the side of that to hold it in place. It doesn't need much. And on the other side too. If you're going to use this stuff though, you better make sure that it's where you want it, because it's not coming off. So we got our OLED over here. You can't see it, but you know, that clamp the LED card piece underneath these 8 holes here. So we're good. Animations as a font name. Yeah, I do have, I have a boot animation on here, and I also have an on animation. So I think I did the double crystal, pulsing back and forth to each other when it's on. I don't remember what I did. It'll be a surprise when I fire it up. So I got that. Now that I got those in there, I can close it off with the speaker. Put this off to the side for a moment. So many people going live, and there's so much great Saber content out there now. You've had Megtooth doing his thing for a long time, and it's always a good channel to tune into. Benji started doing his thing recently. He's always entertaining and fun to watch. There's all kinds of Saber content out there. I figured I would do this a little bit earlier in the day, a little bit, more towards the middle of the week, and then not step on anything that anybody else is doing. I don't want to step on their stuff, and then also I want to watch their stuff too, right? So we're gonna twist this up. What's up, Brian? I'll run a little bit of, I made this so it'll be a fully enclosed 28 millimeter. So I run a little bit of this glue on the inside to hold it in place. Doesn't need much. Curve this up a little bit, curve that end up a little bit like that. So I can run it right through. No problem. Push the speaker in. We're going to push it a little bit with my tweezers just to get it all the way in the housing. Try to make that speaker housing tight, but not so tight that I ruin the speaker when I push it in, right? Maybe that side just a hair. So now, speaker's fully enclosed. It'll sound good. Need to get my Desert Wanderer over to you here very soon. Sick of seeing it still sitting empty and shit. Whenever, hey man, whenever you want, I'm here. Let's do some battery tabs. I mean, it's not your chassis, but it'll do. It's simple and effective. Actually, this is probably the most detailed that I've ever done. I did take some inspiration from Benji on this part because I watched him do something like this on his chassis the other night, and I was asking him how he did it with his stuff, with the tubes and stuff. So I wanted to try it out here. So yeah, that part is from his video the other night. I like the circuitry. I was doing that on the whole chassis for a while, but that got kind of corny, so I stopped doing that. But if I dumbed it down small and then just did it in the recessed areas, I thought it looked way cooler. Coming over here and making those big greeblies, but it may not show good on the camera, but if you look down in the background, I've still got the circuitry SVG that I used to kind of fill in all those blank spaces. So I thought that was pretty cool. If I have to replace a speaker, is there a way to get the glue to release? No. What I have to do there is break the speaker. So, I mean, that's typically what I'll do if I have to replace a speaker, because you don't really care about the old one that's blown. There's a lot of them where if I have to replace this, I'll go in and I'll just take, this or something, I'll poke it and I'll have to rip it out. E6000 is probably better here, but then you have to wait, right? So there's a trade-off. You sit there and you hold it for 5 minutes or something until it doesn't move on you, then you're good to go, and you'll probably have an easier time. But for me, I use CA glue because I can put it on there, hold it on there for like 2 seconds, and then I can keep trucking, right? So there's a trade-off. But if you ask anyone, probably, and even my recommendation would not to be use CA glue on your installs. Don't do that. I've done about 1,300 or so I trust the process a little bit, but E6000 is definitely the way to go. And I do have some here, and I use this for my battery tabs. I will put that on the back of my battery tabs. And I run a double wires off my positive terminal. One will go to the board and the other one goes to every other thing that needs it, right? My LEDs, main NeoPixel connector, any accent wiring. That's what the second wire is for. And that stops me from, I'll have to splice it, but I won't have as big of a splice, so it takes up less room. It's just a little trick to save me on some cram food. If you had 3 or 4 wires going together, and then you soldered those together, and then you had another wire coming off that to go to your board, I mean, that's a lot of room underneath your board that I saved by doing this, right? So. Double bubbles out of flavor. It lasts about 2 minutes. I know most of you have already seen it, or you saw my post because I shared it. That saber from Azzy is crazy. That was very cool to see. So something I didn't think of because I was distracted by doing this live. Normally I'd be doing this by myself with some music or something, but I'd always put in this positive terminal before I put the speaker in, because it's easier just to run my wires out this way, put my terminal in, and then just poke my wires through where I need them, and then put my speaker on. But I forgot to do that, so now I'm going to have to feed them, which is fine. There's plenty of room in there. Maybe. Yeah, and then just feed them out this way. Pick them. What's up, Chris? Pick them like that. And then E6000. Now, the way I design my tab holders is, I could almost just press fit this in and it would stay. But I've had a few times where it stayed for me, but somebody who's not familiar with the install, right, it might slip a little bit, just because it's, they handle it differently than I do, and it should really be made to be handled any type of way within reason. So with a little bit of E6000, I don't have to worry about that anymore. You see, I am having to really press this in, which is how I like it when I go over to Benji's mom's house. Oh my God. Anyway, Got that in. Good to go. Go ahead and put this negative one in too while we're over here putting some E6000 in. The comments are a little delayed, so yeah, I make the joke. You comment, I forget about it, and then I see your comment about it. He's not watching anyway. He's moved on. He's unpacking his new toy. All right. So we got everything in this part of the chassis. We got our OLED, our speaker, battery terminals, LED strip. Oh, he is here. Got him. And anyway, this is something that came off of an old build, and I try to use old parts as much as I can when I'm doing builds like this. So take this wire off, kind of clean up these solder joints a little bit because it was on here kind of rough. No biggie. No, we should be good there. What's up, Jermaine? So this is not the typical 2.0 core that you would have got with these kits, or at least it's not the ones that I've seen. The ones that I've always seen always had a little notch here, right? And then it had a little, like, it had an indentation that went a ½ inch in, and then it went to 7/8. This one's 7/8 all the way through, no notch. And I went ahead and I just designed my NeoPixel connect, or my holder, onto my chassis so that I could just slide this in and it'll just lock in like that, and it holds everything. I didn't have to come in here and tighten anything down. All right, and then this slit right here is, if you can see that, is for the 2 holes I got there for my switches. So that's what we're doing there. This looks like the right wire, but I'm not going to use it. I don't know where it came from. I'm just going to throw it away. It's not mine. I'm going to throw it away. Yeah, afternoon, man. Hope you're having a good one. It's hump day. Isn't it? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Someday. We'll get this wired up and glued in. The one thing about making this an all-in-one chassis, though, instead of doing it separately, is I'm going to have a bit of a time feeding my switch wires through the Saber and blindly down this hole and trying to get them to come out here. I got to do that 4 times, right? Because 2 wires each switch. So that's going to be interesting, but it'll be worth it. Dollar Tree. I wish you could get wire at the Dollar Tree. I've seen some wiring that looked like it came from the Dollar Tree. That's mean. I didn't mean that. Yes, I did. Yeah. I was thinking it, Mac. I wasn't going to say it, though. There we go. And I'll take these and twist these as well. Twist everything. I've heard so many stories about that guy, and he's still in business. Like I don't understand it. Hot glue instead of solder. Oh boy. I'm gonna take off just a little bit there to make it a little bit easier on me. If this was a new PCB, first thing I would have done is taken it before I soldered the pins to it or anything, and I would have um, filed the edges down. But because it had the pins in it already, I wasn't able to do that, and it's used. And so, like, what I did is I just came in and I reamed out this holder just a bit. Just a bit. And I'll put a couple drops of this in there, not much. This doesn't take much. Twist this better. Oh, it's all hidden. That's how you can get away with it. I need to start using hot glue too because it's cheaper. There we go. So we've got that all glued in. We'll let that sit for just a second. I'm probably going to wire this up, wire the board to it right now, get all the wires how I want them, and then we can slide this into the Saber and worry about those switch wires. But I want to kind of get this is crazy and it's bugging me, so I want to chop this down and get it out of the way and try to make it neat. Double bubble. All right. I'll give myself some long wire leads. I know I'm probably wasteful with the wire, but it's worth it to me. I'm not too worried about it. What else we got? We get this OLED screen out of the way. We got white and purple over here. White, purple. Over over here. They say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But does it ever get to be too much for you sometimes? Always doing this, or do you sometimes need a break and decompress? Uh, it, it, it's super fun for me. I'll say that first, right? Like even sometimes when I take a break from commissions on the weekend or something, or at night, I find myself sometimes working on saber related things. I've been designing this chassis for a few days. I finished it up and put it on the printer last night just because it was fun for me. But yeah, sometimes I do need a break. Um, and I try to take them when I need them. I did a lot of sabers the year before last, and I did quite a few last year. And while I'll do a lot this year, it won't be as much as I did last year. I'll be getting a lathe here in the next month or two that will make me slow down, and I'm hoping to learn how to use that and make really cool custom one-off sabers, and machine them and etch them or powder coat them if I want to, and install them obviously, and then sell them all as one package deal. Um, Slightly more than a commission would be, right? But and I work the same, but probably not at the same pace, and I won't get as many sabers done. But hopefully they'll be more special. If that makes sense. More custom. First year or so, I took a lot of commissions. I was just very. I mean, I'm still very excited to do it, but it was really just wanting to make a name for myself that I could do them. Um, I feel like maybe I've done that a little bit, so I can. I am a little bit more choosy these days on like the people that I do commission work for. I just like to get along with them. If we mesh, if we don't mesh, I won't do one, or I won't do another one if it took me one to find that out. You know. 99% of this entire community is super cool, but you always have that 1% or maybe 2% out there. It's just a little weird, man. And I got I got to I've been trying to get better at staying away from that. No, not like you, man. I just did a saber for you. I haven't even seen any glam shots of it. You just, oh, cool. Here's my saber. I'm gonna fly off to Dubai real quick. To hell with Dubai. Where's the glam shots? That's what I'm talking about. You're on the list now. You get weird with my mom on the weekend. Yeah, me too, man. You too, huh? So we got this OLED screen out of the way, which is cool because it took me an hour to get this thing in to the chassis. Thanks, Mac. I appreciate it, dude. those 7-chambered Brassy Labs crystal chambers for the mom saber. Those are very cool. Might as well get rid of these speakers while we're over here. Especially when parts aren't missing. Yeah. I've heard a lot of things about Lewis. I think he's overwhelmed and whatnot. He really doesn't own 7 chambers anymore. And, I think he's going to make an announcement about it. So I won't go into details, but he's still the face of 7 chambers, obviously, because that's what everyone knows. But I've always had good dealings with him, man. He's always been super cool with me. Reach out to him. He's very responsive. Um, Sent me a bunch of extra parts. When I was missing that one part for your crystal chamber, he sent me a bunch of extra parts. I was missing one part for your chamber, and he hooked it up, and he sent me all this just in case anything ever happened again. So my personal experience with Lewis has been very good. Gave me, also sent me a few helper boards. Even though I just needed one, I think he sent me, a few, and I did end up having to need another one, so it was nice to have. And then I held on to one so long. I think I sent it over to Ed Prosky so that he could finish an install because he was waiting on one. So but yeah, I've always had good. I don't have anything bad to say about Lewis, is what I'm trying to say, at all. Trying to work together on some stuff. That's cool. That's cool and vague at the same time. I don't know if it's cool because I don't know what it is. It may not be cool. So what is it? What are you working on? And I'll tell you if it's cool or not. I got you. I'm just messing with you, dude. I can guess if it's in your wheelhouse and you're talking about it. I can guess it has something to do, or I know what it would have something to do with. Because I know what your wheelhouse is. This is something I don't like happening. I get to I start to feel claustrophobic. So typically what I'll do is every time I'm done using a tool, it goes right back. Every wire, it goes right back to the pile, but got away from me a little bit. These guys are coming out with a new brand of underwear. We almost got this wired up to the point that we can put it in the saber and then try to get the switch wires in here somehow. It's always good to get away, man. I had two major vacations last year, and I don't typically take any. One was to celebrations, and then I got to meet up with a bunch of my Sabre friends in October, and that was super cool as well. We were gone for a week. I was gone for a week, I should say. Interested in seeing you feed those switch wires through. Yeah, me too. Any chance to run wires backwards rather than feed them towards the board. I had thought about that, but I'd have even smaller. I'd have an even smaller target. I'd have to hit. I've got two holes there, and I'd have to hit those. And I think it would be easier to go through those two holes and have a common finish line than to start over here and have to maneuver uh, you know four wires in two places. So yeah, that was my thought process with that. I tried to make those holes as big as I could to give me a little bit of play. So hopefully that works out the way I want it to, which it never does. So never works out where you think it's going to. One way or another, I'll get it. Even if I have to sit here for an hour and do it, I'll get it eventually. I believe in you. Thanks, dude. Thank you. What's up, Nader? Got your printer all squared away, man? No, it's giving you some trouble. Hold that here for a second. Let the glue dry. Almost. This year, you ready for a 7-hour road trip with your boy? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. No, I'm ready. Still got almost a year. Well, we're going in October. That'll be dope, though. I have to take my family on a trip first so they don't feel left out. How many hours does a build like this, start to finish? Just the installing part, if I wasn't talking through it and looking at comments and stuff, I could probably sit down and have this done in an hour. Oh, that cabin trip's going to be dope. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the idea of that a lot. Sounds chill. Alright. No, Mac, I've just done it so much, man. No matter what saber it is, when you get to a certain point, it's the same. You know, they all look different. They might have some different wire paths, but they all get wired the same. Kind of, you know, for the most part. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, Nader. I'm proud of it. This is the second saber I've done, the second RTS saber I've done this month. I told myself I'd do 2 a month. The first one was a Star Killer a week or two ago, probably closer to 2 weeks ago. And then this one will be for sale once the leather wrap comes in on Friday, and I'll wrap it that day, and I'll do a demo for it, you know, later that day, and then post it for sale. Probably like $750 for this. I think that's fair. Yeah, the Star Killer sold pretty quick. I felt really, you know, that made me feel really good. It's always a toss up when you do something um, that you want to do and then try to sell it and see if people like it or not. But yeah, I was very fortunate, and somebody grabbed that pretty quick. I think it was in like within 8 minutes of posting it. Try not to charge an arm and a leg for this stuff. You know, I do it because I like doing it. I gotta make my money back too, and plus a couple bucks for doing it. But like, I'm not trying to retire off of it. That one sold for. I listed that one a couple $100 cheaper than I normally would have. It was also right after Christmas, so I know we all got hit pretty hard with Christmas. At least I do, and you know, I wanted somebody to enjoy it, be able to enjoy it, but not break the bank. I don't use a heat gun for my shrink tube. I use my soldering iron. I used to use a heat gun, but I just stopped. $1 million. Yeah, I wish somebody wants to buy this for $1 million. I would sell it to them. But you know, this is a 2.0 kit. Those are a little bit hard to come by. When you find them, they're not as cheap as they used to be. There's a lot of stuff I put into this install. It's not just slapping a board in and calling it a day. I try to go a little above and beyond with some blinkies and some doodads and stuff to make it cool and, you know, fun and unique. I'm not frozen. I'm just trying to let this glue dry. All right. So I got that wired up. Everything's looking good. What we can do now is come over here and put it in the actual saber. not frozen. So slide right in here like this. Make sure I can see my wire, my thing in there for my wire passage. So that's good. Line it up. I did have to come over here and drill and tap a grub screw for chassis retention. Not too big. Chassis in there. Just for fun, we can throw a battery in right now. As a little bit of a sanity check. Let me find a battery. Oh, here's one. We can get a little bit of a sanity check. We just don't have any switches, but that's not a big deal. Spring is too much. Cut a little bit off that spring.
On-direct print not found. SD card not found.
It says that because I don't have the SD card in the board, but as you can see, our OLED screen is working like it should. And even though I don't have the SD card in, I programmed the board before I wired it up. So, you know, all of our LEDs here are working. And of course, they'll do something different when I fire up the Saber, but I just wanted that as a little something, something when the Saber was off. So everything, you know, is pretty much where it should be. The only thing we're not able to test is the pixel connector because I don't have a switch. But we're about to do that stupid crap right now. Why did I do this to myself? Come over here like that. Do 2 whites. I could test with gestures, but I didn't put swing on the Saber, man. I don't like it. I do not like swing on. I enjoy twist off. That's about the only gesture control that I like. And so it's not really worth it for me to have to program it one way just to test it real quick and then have to program it again to take it off. That was the thought there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I could have. This is like fishing. Crazy. Have I done a basic install video? No, I don't think that I have. I've done a lot of videos like this. I have a lot of lives now that I've done. The first handful or so, it was just, you know, literally zoomed in on my desk like you zoomed in now. I haven't done a super close up of a board though. No, I haven't. Good Lord, this is going to take a minute. Oh, I think I can see it. Like, oh, there it is, man. 1 of 3. Get up in there. Crazy. 1 of 3. I'm not sure how I would do a close up very well. I thought about that in the past, but then it's like if the camera's just getting in the way of me working, it's gonna look weird. It's going to frustrate me too. If I had a camera like right here hovering above my work, I don't think I could work. Yo, what's up, Mad Snow? Let's do it again. This is such a pain in the ass. Let me work this magic. Tape 2 wires to one already in. Pull on both. Yeah, that's true. I guess I could do that too. Or if I could get this one in. So many better ways to do this, but I'm just so stubborn. I feel like it's a strength of mine, but it's also a weakness. Actually, Brian, what you said, going from the chassis first, um, worked out on this one. I was able to get there. Now we've got a wire for the auxiliary, 2 wires for the auxiliary switch. Now we'll work on the power one. Yeah, dude, I am so stubborn. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm 42 years old, and I'm not going to change now. Oh my god, that one just popped up right where it should have. One more time, fellas. Get a drink of water. Hey, what's up, Azzy? You're the same. Oh, stubborn. Yeah, we got a room full of stubborn people here. Tell me, tell me, there's a better way than my way. Yeah, right. My ways, my way takes twice as long on purpose. Oh, it's right there too. I don't know if I can reach it with these. Maybe. No, it's all right. Do you save the power for last sometimes? No, I just work my way around the board, and it just depends on what side. I don't have a side of the board. Well, I do actually. I always start with wiring up the negative battery tab. I don't know. I don't know why I do that. It's just there. It's a habit. It was so close. I can. Yeah, we're gonna get it. It's all right. We're gonna get it. This one's a little tricky because the cutout in my chassis that I cut out for these switch holes, uh, I was about I was a little off for this one for the power. It's only got about half of that hole to work with. There we go. There we got it. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. That's crazy. So now we wire these switches up. These little tactile switches. Um, wire these up. We'll put them in the holder, and then we'll wire to the board last. This one had a little bit of trouble printing right here, if you can see that. I'm not worried about it. I always have trouble printing this piece that I modeled up. It never wants to print. It never wants to stick to the bed. I always end up like sitting there having to do it 6 or 7 times. And this piece is a little wonky, but it doesn't affect the operation of the switches. And so I called that a win. So that's a win. All right. Now that we got that, we have to take this and feed the wires through. Oop. This type of switch setup has always been tricky for me. Like, it always takes so much finagling. Like the what is that from Roman props? The MK1 is something that I do that a lot on too, right? But you always have to take the bubble card, sand it down, and then like um, I've gotten to the I've gotten to starting to do this thing the last 6 or 7 that I've done where I don't like to see the switches underneath the bubble card. So I'll take like well, around here we drink bubblies, but it's basically a soda can, right? Cut you a little rectangle out of the soda can, flip it around so you know you've got the foil part right, and you put that under the bubble strip so it looks nice and even. Yeah, I should probably do them in resin. That's a good idea. I'm not. I don't know that I want to print in anything other than PLA plus. I tried printing some PETG, and I think that's what ruined my printers, or at least it ruined my hot ends. Um, I had to totally rebuild 2 of my printers yesterday, and then I have to rebuild my third one too because it's showing signs of wear as well. And I think it's from the higher temperatures of the PETG. Not a fan. Sad day for me, guys. Received my Java Master Sword basically destroyed. Oh, they smashed it so hard the handle popped off the hilt and sheared the threads. Oh my God. Dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is a kick to the balls. Very sorry to hear that. That thing is not cheap. Hopefully Leon will work with you. I know Leon's a good guy. I'm sure he'll do you right, but still that for the time being that sucks, dude. I have seen you around the groups talking about receiving it and being excited to see it. Sorry to hear that, bro. PETG is a nightmare to work with, and layer adhesion is not really good. Yeah, I had it up to like I think was like 225 degrees, 230 degrees on my hot end, and like 70 degrees on my bed, and I was just like, man, this. I really feel like this is just wrecking my printers. And for what? Like I got fine strength out of PLA, but I did switch over to PLA Plus just to have a little bit more strength. But I think, for chassis, if they're designed right and they're held inside the saber right, like I don't think you really need anything more than that. The only time I've ever had issues with chassis breaking and had to be returned to me to be fixed that was due to mishandling. PETG, Cole. I don't think I'll ever mess with that again. All right, so there's the switches. There's the clamp card. It may need to be shaved down. We can get it on there for now, though. Just get it on there for now. And we got good actuation. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but yeah. So switch mechanism is good. All we have to do now is come in and do these 4 switch wires, and then tuck the wires underneath the board, nice and neat, and get everything looking pretty. So it shouldn't be too rough. I wish I had had my leather wrap so this looked, like it's gonna look, but unfortunately, it just didn't get here in time. I had a few extras laying around, but I was like a rat. It was 1 revolution short of being able to finish the handle. I tried to pull it as tight as I could, and it just wasn't happening. I even tried. I tried a wrap that had no overlap. It was just it looked like one seamless wrap, and I still couldn't. I still couldn't get it. So I had to order one and stop being cheap. That's what I get for being cheap. What's up, Jorge? Almost done. I've only got one sound font on here. I think I put Ignition Redux. I like the idea of a staggered ignition on a Scrapflex. You know. Anyways, having to rebuild my printers for me was actually a blessing in disguise because I went ahead and I opted to go to put direct drive motors on them, and they're printing better now than they ever have. And I've owned them for a while. I thought I was getting really good prints out of them, but the prints I'm getting out of them now is phenomenal. I know better than to come across the board like. Do I have a Phillips Hold corn horn chassis? I do. I made a removable one a while back. I've done Profi with it. I think I did a CFX with it, and then I also did a Golden Harvest version for um, Clint Morrison and sent him that chassis. I thought that was a Cranfu Saber, and then I saw, was it Harp or Thanawat, one of them, do like a full crystal chamber removable chassis in it, and I was like, oh, okay. Never mind. Guess there's plenty of room. I'm just a noob. I would typically like to have, I try to make this area right in front of the board closed off, or a shelf that goes up underneath the board. I couldn't do it this time because of all the stuff that I was trying to shove in here. So on stuff like this, if I, after I finish, if I got some wires just kind of floating around over here, I'll take my tweezers and at least try to like tuck them neatly over to one side or the other, so it doesn't look like, I didn't care what was going on in there. Now we can take our SD card, put it in the saver. We throw a battery in here.
Authorized print not found.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I did all that programming. I was in a rush to get this board programmed before this live stream. As soon as it said that, I knew what I did. I forgot to rename the on my config. I forgot to name it the actual sound font Ignition Redux. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here and name it whatever was on the config, so I don't have to do, I don't have to program it again for right now, just so that we could fire it up real quick. Let me see what I named it. Smith Jedi. SMTH Jedi. Oops. SMTH Jedi. That'll work. That'll work for now, so we can at least fire it up and hear something. Oops. Camera went crazy. Hang on. No, I don't do that, Nader. There we go. What's the length of the exposed chassis? Let me get my calipers, because I forgot. .82 inches, Benjamin, is what I got. So let's see if we can fire this up. It's alive. Got a little bit of LEDs going on over here while it's off. Let's see what it sounds like with the handle on and the blade in. I went a little bit different with the blade retention. Thanks, fellas. On this blade retention, I put it right here. I just replaced one of the. Whoops, there's a camera. One of the gold pins I took out. I drilled and tapped for a grub screw, and I used that as a blade retention. I don't like using this guy all the time. This flathead screw right here is actually one of the ones that's binding the shroud to the core. So I wanted to leave that alone. This is also binding the shroud to the core. This one was already. This piece would have probably made a good blade retention, but it was already cut down because I bought this used, so that wasn't an option. So yeah, I just put a grub screw in right here. And it'll sound different when it has a wrap on it, because now it's got all these holes in it, but the blade in it. Grub screws in there just a little bit. Just a little bit. You don't see that at all very different for that screw, yeah. My 7/8 blade's not sanded, and this really kind of needs one. It's sanded, but should be all right. All right, finally. Not bad. We are able to put that together in an hour and a half, or an hour and 25 minutes. Yo, he is the king of scraps. Benjamin. I'm just over here. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. Literally. But anyway, yeah, that's my Scrapflex. I'll show it off again on Friday when a wrap comes, so it doesn't look, the handle doesn't look so dumb, but you got to use your imagination a little bit. And it's all done. So I'll put that wrap on, do a demo, post it for sale, and then hopefully somebody can enjoy it, because it was very fun to build. It's a solid build. I did not glue in this piece right here. I didn't glue it in. It's pretty rigid. So I drilled a hole in this button. If you tried hard, I mean, you could come over here and you can pull it out. You know, it will come out, but if you don't forcefully come over there and pull on it, it's not going to come out. And I'll probably tighten up that clamp a little bit so it's not so loose. I don't like it how it, you know, it can slide around so easy. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me while I got that done. That was really fun to do. It was on my mind. Anytime I do a personal project, it's just like it's on my mind until I get it done, and then now I can move on to another personal project. But I hope that you guys have a good rest of your week, and you have a good weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week. Later.